Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. This is Moina Bass Fishes. I'm Jim Moina, professional bass angler. I'm here on the eve of the first day of practice for the Division II Bassmaster Open Tournament on Lake Sam Rayburn. It was very warm today. It's gonna be warm again tomorrow, but the weather's coming in through our practice session. We're gonna have looks like we're gonna have some rain. We're gonna have some wind shifts, but not. There was not any predictions of outrageous high winds. In fact, the highest wind predicted seems to be, at least on the weather report I'm looking at, seems to fall on our first day of the tournament, where they're saying north winds 10 to 15. You know, 15's not good. 10 is fine, but 15's not good. So, with that in mind, I think the best thing for me to do is to just stay within a mile of any north shore of this lake. So the lake kind of runs like this, with this being the long part of the lake, and then you got a little thing here, and then you got all kinds of fingers on each side. But it runs like this, so I would say anywhere along this, if this part of my hand is the south shore, southwest shore, and this is the northeast shore, I'd say anything along that northeast shore is something that I'm game at looking at. I plan on doing a lot of side scanning tomorrow, and just to see what I see. With all this warm weather they've had, certainly I'm sure there's some fish that have moved up shallow. But with the cold weather predicted, some of those fish might move back out. So I want to just see what's out right now. And that's what I'm going to look at really hard. I'm going to look using, I'm going to be looking at, forward sonar type fishing. So I got a lot of minnow baits rigged up, that sort of thing, swim baits and that kind of thing. But I did spend several hours today rigging up everything. So I've got rattle traps rigged up. I've got all-terrain tackle, football heads rigged up. I've got various jerk baits rigged up. I've got bladed jigs rigged up. I've got, a lot of different things, some other crankbaits. So, yeah, I'm pretty confident with the baits I have tied on. It's just a matter of putting them in the right part of the lake at the right time. And we'll figure that out after 3 days of practice. It'd be nice to find a concentration of fish out deep, a concentration of bigger ones. So that's why I'm going to do some scanning. I want to find brush piles. I want to find brush piles that are more recently sunk, meaning brush piles that still may even have leaves on them from last fall. If somebody's put them in last summer and they still have leaves on them, that'd be great. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. That's kind of what's going through my mind. Playing it pretty loosey-goosey, but I gotta have the discipline to be on that side scan a lot tomorrow. That's kind of my goal. And because one thing I found myself last year doing was just dropping the trolling motor and just covering water using the forward sonar. Well, you can't cover as much water with forward sonar. So I kind of want to get back to using more side scan for this season, and I got to have the discipline to do it, because you could be sitting there for 3 hours without seeing much of anything. And then, it might take you 3 hours to find some fish to cast at. So that's what's kind of going through my mind right now. The other thing going through my mind is, I've never placed in the top 10 out here. Yes, I have. I guess in a fall tournament many years ago. I remember I finished like 6th or 7th. And I forget who won, but I remember Edwin Evers was one spot ahead of me in the top 10, but I forget who won. But anyways, that was probably like 06, 05, somewhere in there. I don't know. It was a long time ago. So, but any of these, I've been here in a bunch in February, and I usually make a check, but never had a top 10 in a February tournament. So I'd like to switch that around. I'm going to spend a lot of time scanning and just see what that shows me. And of course, when I come across brush piles, I'll mark it. And of course, if I come across with fish that look like bass, I'll be marking those. And hopefully, I can put together a plan of attack. Hopefully, I can come across the right group of big ones. That's the thing. And side scanning is a great way to find those fish. So that's what I'm going to do. And that's about it. Everything's ready to go. Today was just a full day. I never got in my truck and never went anywhere. Just stayed right here at my campsite all day, rigging gear. Took some time out to take in some collegiate wrestling, which was pretty awesome. Some great matches between University of Minnesota and Ohio State. And then the other one was Iowa and Nebraska. Both of those duels came down to the final match to see which team was going to win. And there were some great matches in both of those duels. So it was pretty cool. Pretty fun to watch. Pretty cool to see. That's kind of what I like to do when I got a little downtime. So, and I wasn't watching them live because it happened last night at Friday. Today's Saturday night. So just watching the reruns off of YouTube. So, but it's still fun. If you don't know who wins, it's pretty cool. Anyhow, that's all I got to say for now. And we'll report tomorrow night with what I find in practice. So, over and out.